The Empire is choking us so slowly.
Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name's SKYMAN Universe, and today we're going to be reacting to all of the ANDOR trailers. But before we begin, your Star Wars quote for today. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. So I know I said that I wasn't going to watch any of the trailers, and I wanted a different experience for ANDOR, so I wanted nothing to be ruined and to go in watching it with a completely new surprise given to me. But I've caved in. I mean, we're so close to ANDOR, and I feel like I should have done it, but I really want to see the trailers. I want to get in the mood for it. I'm on Rogue One already, and I think they're all going to be great. I think if I was to speculate for a couple of things for these trailers and what I want to see in Andor. Now, some of you are probably going to hate me for this or wonder why on earth I like it, but I've always liked the politics in Star Wars. I love the Senate stuff in The Phantom Menace. I've always warmed to that, and I know probably a lot of people wouldn't share my vision for it, but I'd really kind of like to see a lot of Imperial politics on Coruscant and to know what's going on with that, because I know Mon Mothma's in it, so I assume that she might have dealings with people on Coruscant. There was references to it in A New Hope.
The Imperial Senate.
Just to know the state of Coruscant, the capital, and then to the rebellion to work through politically to make its way to Andor, for Andor to do all the stuff, then I think that would be pretty awesome. I mean, I hardly doubt that, and if there is the Imperial Senate there, then there's potentially a cameo from the Emperor, which would be pretty cool, but then back of my mind, I still feel like the Emperor, it would be really incredibly awesome to see him actually discuss some politics, but through being a Sith. So how would a Sith go about ruling the galaxy? Because you don't really see that. Like, I'd like to see how he makes decisions and how that sort of contradicts completely the opposition, which is Mon Mothma and the rebellion, and how they are dealing with politics. I'm basically looking for something different, something new in Andor, something we haven't seen before. Rogue One offered that, but was so lovely and brilliantly in tune with Star Wars at the same time, and that's kind of what I want for Andor. I want something new and sort of really, like, you're so immersed into it, especially into Andor. But I want that complete Star Wars vibes, and what we've had so far with all the TV series, not so much The Mandalorian. Mandalorian's really sort of shining in this department, but it's not looking like a TV series. I want it to look like a movie, and to make it seem like it was just taken fresh out the cinema and now it's on Disney Plus, because the TV shows, when they look a bit TV-y, knowing how much money they sink into this, that to me seems a little bit cheap, and that then makes me think, well, they just put out this show because they want to get you on Disney Plus type thing, and then they're just killing off cinema. But I hope that's not going to happen with Andor. I hope it's going to be a really immersive, really itty-gritty, and character-driven. Now, I know this would probably be such a fanboy thing if we saw the Emperor actually ruling the galaxy, because this is surely the Emperor in his sort of prime. He's loving life at the moment. He doesn't care about rebellions. Like, he's killed all the Jedi. Like, he's taken over. His plan, in my eyes, has succeeded. So this should be the Emperor literally just having fun ruling, being a Sith, and actually being Darth Sidious as opposed to Palpatine. That's something which I'd really love to see. And I really hope, even though it's really doubtful and it's going to be such a fanboy dream, but the Emperor would be really cool to have an integral role in it, and somewhere in there, if Mon Mothma's in there, so it's kind of two complete opposites working, one ruling as an evil Sith Lord and one ruling or trying to set up the rebellion for all things good. And that would be really good, see how they clash and then see how the Emperor reacts to these early rebel cells. I mean, that would be completely amazing. And it would I think it would build up Rogue One and New Hope and everything really nicely. I think the biggest compliment you can do for Andor in this series is give a new added dimension when you watch Rogue One. So if you find the ending of Rogue One when the Death Star's blasted, a single reactor ignition
Single reactor ignition
on Scarif, and you find it sad, even more sad, to watch Andor get killed with Jyn, then I think that's the biggest testament to a successful Andor series, because you built upon his character, you've made you like him more, and you've given him more depth, and that's kind of what I want to go into Andor for. That's not really me speculating what we're going to see in this trailer, it's me speculating what I want to see in the series. I don't think they'll show like massive whopper surprises in any of the trailers, except I think it would be a lot more sort of feels for planting you into the early seeds of rebellion, if that makes sense. So I think there's going to be a lot of action. My hopes and dreams for the Imperial Senate, I don't think we're going to see any of that in the trailers. I just think that'd be a bit too sort of fanboy for me. But Mothma, I hope, and Jimmy Smits, I hope Jimmy Smits is going to be in there too. I mean, I doubt we're going to see Darth Vader walking around or anything like that, but yeah. Right, I'm going in, I'm watching these three. I think it's 3 trailers, teaser and 2 main, so let's do this. So we're already started the Eclipse game, which is never going to come out ever. And it sounds just like the Eclipse game. Bad start with kids. Good start with the scientists. I'm getting Jedi vibes from here. This is good. Not sure if that meant to be Imperials.
So fat and satisfied.
That looks good. And Coruscant. Was that Coruscant? Oh my gosh. They're on Coruscant. Woo!
Soon enough, these days will end.
I forgot Bootstrap Bill. Oh my. It was actually the Imperial Senate. Holy crap.
What a reckoning sounds like.
Well, I caved in, but I'm glad I did. So for the teaser trailer, that was awesome. Like, I don't think anything was even spoiled in there too much, apart from exactly what I said about Coruscant being on there as well, which is just freaking amazing. And to see Mon Mothma as well, and the Imperial Senate too. Like, if I can see it, like if you pause it, then you could see there's no one standing in the middle where Palpatine was standing. So it probably officiated by Imperials, which is just amazing. But for a teaser, like, it certainly doesn't spoil anything, but it totally gets you hyped up. I'd want to know though who the person is in Star Wars, where at the end of the trailer I always expect there to be something else, but I think with every single Disney Plus trailer I've seen, I don't think there's ever been anything at the end of the trailer, but I'm always sitting there like, they're going to show someone big, but that never happens anymore. Like, the surprise will always be in the series, if there are any at all. It's never going to be on the trailer. Those Imperials look freaking awesome gathered around the table. He looks smug and interesting, and I like that for the Imperials. I really liked Rogue One for the Imperials there, because all the officers looked like they came straight out of A New Hope. That sort of mannerism which they carry forth, they're snobby and sort of looking down on everyone and just don't care. Always said for the Imperials as well, you don't want to relate to the Imperials. Imperial army is not meant to feel inclusive. They are outcasts and you're not meant to associate yourself with them. That's what makes them more scary. That's what makes them more intimidating. That's why you would fight them, because of their backward ideology. But did anyone else notice the Eclipse vibes? Surely I think this trailer came out at the same time as that Eclipse game trailer. I think that game's never going to come out. I think that carried heavily from ideas from Dune as well. So, which I always think Star Wars is its own entity, really, so it should be making its own things up. I don't like references from other popular things placed in Star Wars, but this sort of carries forth that it's the bells, it's the knocking of the bells and the drums, and someone thought it was a good idea. Even someone just banging a doorbell in there ferociously. I mean, they seem to like that. Now it's Rogue One vibes. That's definitely near Pinewood Studios, the Gladiator film. That's pretty awesome. Don't really see that too often. Imperial Star Destroyer just coming over. Oh my. That is so good.
Fat and satisfied. They can't imagine would ever get inside their house.
Nice. I like Andor in this.
The Empire is choking us so slowly.
They Clone Wars troopers. They were definitely Clone Wars troopers. I mean, you probably know already.
Something real.
Actual live action Clone Wars troopers. Yeah, stormtroopers. Hey, he looks like Starkiller. This looks awesome. This looks so cool.
You're slipping.
Hey,
I've just been.
As long as everyone thinks
that is so awesome. Star Rebellion, mate. Reboot. Stormtroopers. Here I am, waiting again for something at the end. I can't believe I haven't even watched these. I mean, it still includes quite a lot of the teaser in there. It doesn't give anything away, but it really does get you sort of in the mood for it and quite excited. They were definitely clone troopers in there, like the stormtroopers. So the transition from clones to stormtroopers, you had both in there. So that is freaking awesome. I hope there's going to be a lot of live action clones in there, because that would just be amazing. But whether there's going to be an actual time jump in there, or if it's just like from one planet is still using clones and the other planet's still on stormtroopers. But I love so much Coruscant. The look of it just looks so amazing. Mon Mothma looks amazing. Like the fact that it's sort of in hushed tones, like talking about rebellion. And I mean, that's so cool. Like, I love that so much. The problem is when I watch trailers, then I tend to just have it on repeat. So this is probably going to be on repeat for the whole time. I'm kind of glad it didn't follow the sort of Eclipse teaser trailer game vibe that I was getting from the first one. But this was very much sort of get you very excited for it. But yeah, let's move on to the last one. I think this one came out on Disney Expo. Straight in with the clone troopers. And the Imperial Senate. Oh, it looks gorgeous. So rare. Andor's gonna be so badass in this. He's actually quite a beloved Star Wars character for me. Did you just say bastards? Bootstrap. Yes.
At what cost?
Everything.
He's pretty intense.
Every day we.
Let's take them by surprise.
Those clone troopers look so cool.
Let's call it Star Wars Andor 3-episode premiere streaming
3
September
episodes.
21st.
Oh my. 3 episodes. 3 episodes to begin with. Oh man, that's going to be so cool. So there must be some awesome things happening in there. Imagine the episode probably like half an hour long or something, but it's still going to be pretty awesome. As long as it all feels like it should have been a movie, then yeah, that would be really great with me. That trailer just makes me realise how much I loved Cassian Andor in Rogue One. And I'm always wanted to know more about his character and how he fits into Rebellion as well, and got more of an official role later on, and then when he was on Yavin 4, which I really hope that they end up on Yavin 4, which would be really cool. And then it sort of ties perfectly into Rogue One, as Rogue One tied perfectly into A New Hope. That would be really cool. It's kind of weird not to see Jin by his side though, because I actually really thought they were a great duo, and I know you couldn't do it, but I'd love to have seen both of their stories expanded. To be honest, I would love to have seen them like escape Scarif and then just say, right, we've done our bit for Rebellion, we're going to do something else now in the galaxy, but they had to go. But still, it just kills me at the end. It's just every single time when I see them looking at each other, I'm like, God damn it. But that's the nature of the Empire, and that's what makes them scary. Yeah, the Imperial Senate looks so awesome. It looks like it's been updated to look more Imperial, so we must see the Emperor in there. I just hope so much that the Emperor is going to show up. I mean, it's so integral to the Imperial scenes. I mean, they are all answering to the Emperor's wishes and commands. I'll say more commands, because he's in control of everything. So whatever happens in the Senate, the Emperor, he's not acting like a chancellor, he's acting like a dictator now. He can say whatever he wants, do whatever he wants. If someone's out of line, then that's, Empire will go and sort them out, basically. So there's got to be a lot of fear in the Senate, and that's why I want to see the politics so much in this, because it would just be so awesome to see this completely new take. It's not a democracy, it doesn't work like that. Sure, it's still coming across as one. And that to me is very, very exciting, because that's something new that we haven't really seen in Star Wars. So Coruscant looks so cool. I'm so ready to head back there, and just, it looks like it's fresh out the prequels. That's one thing, like stylistically, like it's all very immersive, and it certainly hasn't held back on the look there. It just looks like that scene could be spliced in The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. It looks so good. All 3 trailers collectively. I was worried that I was going to spoil this for myself, but I'm kind of glad I watched it all, because it hasn't really spoiled anything, but it's certainly set the tone and the mood, and I think it's going to be like dirty and grimy and very sort of immersive. I have no idea what's going on, and that's like, even though that's frustrating, that's how it should be, because a trailer is meant to just give you subtle tones and not destroy it. One of the trailers which I love like so much, and I find myself just playing trailers in the background, especially from younger years, because it just reminds me of watching it for the first time. Revenge of the Sith trailer, just all the sounds and everything, and it's just so imprinted, embedded in my memory. But that trailer, as awesome as it is, it literally does spoil the entire movie. And as a kid or a teenager, I did everything in my power back then to try and work out what was going on in the movie, and I pretty much worked it out through sticker books, games, and everything like that, all the cutscenes in the Revenge of the Sith PlayStation 2 game. So now it's completely held back, as it kind of should be, I suppose. But there's always one thing which, with every Star Wars trailer, which I always feel like is missing, and because it's not a movie, and Star Wars for me, music is so important for Star Wars. Like, it's basically one of the things which, without it, it doesn't work for me. And that's why sometimes in Boba Fett, sometimes Mandalorian, I was sort of getting there, and then it excelled. But Boba Fett, when they went for some terrible sort of beat music instead of like orchestral. The whole point with Star Wars is meant to be like a space opera, so you could tell the story musically and know what's going on. And that's how good the music should be. So I don't feel like you have that in the TV shows. I mean, some people probably like that, but for me, I'm more traditional in my music taste, and orchestral music, classical music, is something which I hold dearly and strongly too. So this is more, I don't like just generic sounds and just a little bit of a slight motif there, or just recycling the same forced theme. Like, I hope things are expanded musically. This is a soundtrack that's going to be loved. Maybe themes for Cassian and Mon Mothma and everyone. So that'd be really cool. I think it just adds so much more depth, and to give it a real cinematic vibe. I hope that it's really focused. Like, I hope they focus in some really awesome scenes there. But, I mean, my only wish is just to see the Emperor in this and see him raw. And that would be my checklist. I think there's going to be galactic-wide implications for whatever is going on, or whatever Bootstrap Bill is trying to sort out, and Mon Mothma. So, yeah, I already think this is going to be different. And I'm open to something different from what we've seen so far for the TV shows. But as long as it fits in George Lucas's vision. So I'm looking forward to doing all the reactions to it next Wednesday. It's going to be very exciting to see actually what the hell's going on in this series. I think if this series does really well, then I think there's going to be a very positive outlook for future Star Wars series, because for me, they've been like Mandalorian, and then Boba Fett had so much potential to be incredible, but I think Boba Fett was one of the biggest wasted opportunities ever. Boba Fett in The Mandalorian was awesome, but in his own show he wasn't great. It was great as I thought he would be, and it wasn't as film-like as I thought it'd be. Kenobi, I said, it takes a very special type of person to ruin Kenobi, and I think Kenobi was awesome, but at the same time completely ruined as well. At the same time, there's a lot of things in Kenobi which I feel like could have been done a lot differently and enhance the whole Kenobi experience. Could have ruined. It's just so easy to make an awesome Kenobi series, and for having all the stuff given to them and having all this access of these resources, and that's sort of what they came up with, I think was a bit anticlimactic. I haven't rewatched Kenobi. I think that's always the good telltale sign if it's good or not. Like, I think I rewatched Boba Fett immediately after I saw it because there were good bits in there, especially Mandalorian scenes. Mandalorian I've watched so many times. Hoping Cassian Andor will be something that I'd want to rewatch a lot as well. But there's a lot of stuff that Disney is creating at the moment, which I think is interesting, shall we say. And I just hope their influence doesn't filter through to Star Wars. It probably will. But hopefully it won't take you out of it. Hopefully it'll all be enjoyable and fun. So those are my reactions to those trailers. Sort of very belated and long overdue. But I'm kind of glad I watched it all at once. That's got me very excited. I'm going to be playing these trailers on repeat now until Wednesday. Let me know everything you thought about it, what you enjoyed from these trailers, and who you're looking forward to seeing, and what you expect to be seeing or speculating. Anything like that, just let me know down below. It'd be great to read. Subscribe if you're not already. Like if you did. Take care of yourself. And remember, the Force will be with you always.